Well, good afternoon, good morning. Thanks everyone for attending this webinar. My name is Gerben de Haan, co-founder and head of product at LSQI, and the next 45 to 60 minutes we'll be talking about how AI transforms quality management in manufacturing. I'll wait another minute or so for the last people to join. Meanwhile, I ask you to, if you can maybe use the chat to tell who you are, where you're dialing in from, to get a bit of a feel where everyone is coming from. And this chat can also be used to ask questions during the webinar. So I'll try to keep an eye out on the chat and see what kind of questions may pop up. So let's see, John from Ohio joining. Welcome, John. Cool. Cool. See some familiar names popping up. That's always good to see. Cool. Well, let's get started. So we've got a lot of ground to cover today. The outline for this webinar is I'll start with a brief introduction about about LSQI. Then we'll dive into how AI can transform the quality operation with a true, meaningful purpose around value. We'll see a lot of demos. We've got some 7-ish demo scenarios prepared for you to really make this vision tangible and come alive. There'll be some interactive elements at the end where I'd like you to rate the various use cases and pick your top 3 and maybe suggest some additional use cases as well, because that's great input for us as a product development team to understand where the true value can be found. And I see a lot of input in the chat already, but please use that to ask any questions. I'll try to keep an eye out and respond to it at the end. I'll try to make some time to answer them, and then if there's any questions left, I'll make sure to address them after the webinar. So let's just dive into it. Oh, excuse me, one thing. We also have a beta list program starting today that we're actually kicking off with this webinar. So there will be a pop-up where you can subscribe to the beta list, and then as we go and are ready to try out some of the new capabilities in the field, we'll reach out to the beta list to seek some engagement there. So if you're eager to join us, please do so and subscribe to this beta list. Cool. So starting with a brief intro. My name is Gerben de Haan, co-founder, head of product at LSQI. And LSQI is a quality management software vendor. We're bringing the next gen quality management solution to the market specifically for manufacturing. So you see us in basically each and every manufacturing vertical, ranging from chemicals through plastics and food and beverage to textiles. So it's pretty much all over, but within manufacturing. We're a small team of around 30 people at the moment. We are headquartered here out of the Netherlands, but presence in the US as well. We are currently serving over 180 manufacturing plants worldwide. And I think if you were to position us in one statement, it's that we want to establish a big Q quality mindset in terms of Dr. Duran in manufacturing. So don't look at quality for the sake of compliance, but we serve higher order purposes of delivering value and making quality a strategic initiative in the organization. That's what we want to achieve with our customers, and according to the feedback, we're doing a decent job there. So the LSQI platform is the next gen QMS for intelligent operational control, trying to establish this quality first mindset across the operation, a data driven operation within the quality team, and embed ownership of quality throughout the organization and throughout each and every process. And we do that with a very modular proposition consisting of 5 modules spanning from quality control to continuous improvement, documentation, supplier quality, and EH&S. And within these modules, we offer a total of 25 individual solvers, as we call them, productized, standardized solution to common business problems in context of quality and EHS. In the mailings after the webinar, we'll share details about the individual solvers. So lots of documentation there on the website. Today I'll focus on the AI applications, obviously, but there's a lot of great stuff to be found, and we'll share that after the webinar. Before diving into the actual topic of today, I'd like to highlight the accolades that we received from customers and from the market. So we're over the moon with the customer feedback we've been receiving in the last few years. So you can see this almost perfect 4.8 out of 5-star review ratings from 50 customers on the Gartner Peer Insights platform, and Gartner recognized us as a strong performer in their most recent Voice of the Customer report on QMS software. So this is a great encouragement for us that we're on the right track, and we're working really hard to improve the product, the whole ecosystem, and our services around that to even deliver more value. And that actually brings me to the key topic of today: AI, but AI for the sake of value. If I look at my LinkedIn feed, then it's AI all over, and I'm pretty sure it's the same with you guys as well. And I always get the feel that there's lots of marketing hype and jumping on the bandwagon of the buzz going on there. So I ran into this ad of an AI-enabled toothbrush, which, well, actually surprises me or confuses me better. I don't really get it, and I don't know how it adds value and why I should be looking into AI-enabled toothbrushes. So this feels like it's AI for the sake of marketing and for the sake of the hype rather than true value. I could be wrong, but that's the feeling that I get. And so we as a vendor want to take a value first approach to AI, not ship and overload the platform with AI use cases. There's a lot of technology looking for use case features out there rather than value derived from AI as such. So we want to take the value approach there, and we defined a little framework for ourselves to assess value and to basically provide as a guiding principle in our product development to assess or to ensure that we're delivering value with this. So we plotted this value chain, and any quality process starts with events happening. So you have complaints or quality measurements or deviations and incidents. So these events happen in the physical world, and then they emit data or are represented by data. Then the data is converted into information inside, and then these insights are used by human operators to make decisions, and ultimately their acting upon these decisions delivers impact, and that impact can be measured or expressed as customer satisfaction, first time pass, yield, things like that, total cost of quality, compliance score, audit findings. So then we're in the physical world again. So this is the value chain, if you want, of any quality process. And typically, if you look at where software is deployed right now, it's in the data, information, insights conversion. And of course, it adds a ton of value there. But ultimately, if you look at how value is created, the further downstream you get, the more impact or the more value you see. And you could even argue that insights that are not used in decision making or decision making that's not effectuated and doesn't provide any value. But let's, for the sake of simplicity, consider this a linear linear trend in adding value. So the further downstream you get, the more value you deliver. And for us as a product team at LSQI, that means that we want to expand into the decision-making side of the processes, because that's ultimately where you drive impact. Insights themselves, you can have perfect dashboards, but if no one looks at them or doesn't use the information in there, then it's still worthless, basically. So we want to move downstream and play a bigger role in decision making. So our guiding principle as a product team is, how do we help you as a manufacturer to get to better decisions faster? Because ultimately that's where impact can be found. So we're looking at ways to get there, basically. So how do we get to better decisions faster? It means getting to a structured and a data operation faster, so laying the foundation to progress through this value chain quicker. Combine relevant resources and apply reasoning to all that information. So siloed information should be, or we should tear down the barriers of these silos, basically. Use all that information, feed that into one big context, and apply your reasoning and derive suggestions from that. And also, to speed up this whole process of going through the value chain, it's important to provide the advices and the information there where the problems occur and can actually be fixed. So for us, that means not asking customers to and users to go to the software, but make sure that the software is where they are, with of course mobile applications, but also integrating into the existing tech stack. So this is the mission, the guiding principle that we use in our product development. And then if you look at what AI can add to that, then it helps us to shift the paradigm of developing and using software to focus on the destination rather than on how to get there. So traditionally, software development was all about mastering a domain, understanding the key problems, plot a path from problem to solution, and create a navigational path for the users to follow in order to have their problems solved. So it was really focusing on how to get from A to Z. And now with AI, it's as a user, you don't any longer need to be trained and have a full understanding of the navigational path to go from problem to solution. You can simply express your desired state in natural language, and the software will help you get there and sort out a way to get there, rather than you having to plot your way and to go through this learning curve. So this is addressing the desire to get to this end state, to the decision making faster, because I don't need to go to my tabular overviews and create filters and create charts and include them in dashboards and then evaluate these dashboards. Of course, it's still available and possible, but instead you can just ask software to come up with suggestions in order to help your decision making. So that's a paradigm shift, both from a development as well as from a software user perspective, that's highly appealing and will help us to get to results, get to value much quicker than we were used to. So that's the foundation of the value-based vision. So AI for the sake of value, focusing on decision making, going through this value chain much quicker. So we took that and we identified a handful of use cases and started working on that. So we'll be looking at a bunch of demos of these use cases. ranging from product features that are already shipped and available to some really early days prototypes. But I think, and in the end, I'll summarize them and plot them against the value chain. I think this will be really helpful in getting to the desired state of software being a companion, helping you in your decision making rather than a utility that you, as a professional, use in your operation by actively navigating and well, solving your problems yourself, basically. So with that, let me switch to the browser. There we go. Let me put this on full screen. Cool. So getting to value quicker, helping quality professionals in their decision making. So one of the features we created, and this is a product capability that is live at the moment, is interpreting unstructured data and using that unstructured data to escalate if there's deviations and to trigger workflows, etc. So what you can do, take a certificate of analysis, for example, an incoming certificate of analysis, feed that to the system either by uploading it to the as an attachment or forwarding it as an email. And now, so here we have the incoming certificate of analysis. So we have pH with a value of 9.1, viscosity 800. You can see the spec bandwidths there as well. And now, if this gets reloaded, let me do so. Then we see the escalations and the importing of the results. And if I put them side by side, we can see that these values actually are imported correctly, including the spec bandwidth there as well. So here you have an example of taking unstructured information, feeding that, well, in this case manually, but imagine this was an email that was forwarded automatically, feeding it into the system, and then parsing the information, including the batch number, the issuer of the certificate of analysis, so the supplier, product information, batch number, and then upon the deviation that was detected, we're automatically raising alerts up here, informing the right process gatekeepers about this deviation and enabling them to react upon this. So this will take away a lot of manual actions and ensure that you won't miss out on any of these deviations, obviously. So this is a first example. This is a product feature that's already available. Is an example of how we can well, help going through this this whole flow in just a few seconds. Then let me close this one. In the setup of LSQI, we work a lot with these analysis sets, as many of you may be familiar with. So for each of your quality processes and registrations, you have these forms and tabular overviews that help you to collect all this data. And in these forms, you can define your expression. So this is business logic, in this case, counting the number of PDF attachments, which is a utility in this flow. So these expressions are well, it's business logic that help you to guide workflows and do a first line of data processing in the form itself, and then use that to trigger your workflows and analysis, etc. Creating these expressions is about as complicated as creating your formulas in Excel. So it's not too complicated. It's really powerful, but there is a learning curve associated with that. Well, what we created is the ability to have a natural language interface where you can just describe what you're looking for, and then it provides you with the expression. And this is making it easier to implement business logic and workflow routing and things like that in the application with all the power and the capabilities that the expression engine offers, but then without the learning curve that comes with it. So this is an example of speeding up the deployment of the data-driven approach in your operation. And then with that, we took it to the next level, basically, by enabling uses to create analysis sets from descriptions or from documents. So, for instance, and this is something that we haven't released yet. It's about to be completed. But here we can say create a form to capture broken glass registrations in a food processing company, and keep it brief, max 10 fields, just for the sake of demo. So creating that right now. So what it's doing right now, this is an AI model trained on analysis sets and the various field types that we offer. So now it tries to source inspiration on what fields are relevant, and build a virtual representation of that form, and then executes that into LSQI, creating these forms that we can then use to start collecting data. So there we go. It's been created. Now if I go here, refresh, now we have this AI tab popping up with a form for the glass registration. And if I go there, we have a form with a dozen or so fields to document what happened here. So this helps us to get to this data-driven operation much quicker, and this will help us again to move through this value chain much quicker and start collecting data, be it structured, be it unstructured, and then, as we'll see later on, use that for decision-making purposes. Speaking of collecting data, be it structured, be it unstructured, once you have a form like this, we have this little use case of an interpreter where you can basically talk to your system. And because of the webinar, and my microphone has been used by another service, so I cannot use it to dictate this, but we have this ability where you can provide a description or copy paste an email, or just talk to it and have it transcribed, and then convert that into a form entry. So in this case, we can say, we noticed broken glass at line 3 in hall B. There were at least 100 broken bottles, and we do think product was contaminated. We should do more root cause analysis. So just a description of what has happened, and now it's converting that into a form entry. So this is a form that didn't exist a few minutes ago. It was created from this description, and then we can use this ability to capture unstructured information, feed that into this, and then we can use this in our analysis and workflow routing later on. Now, the ability to create analysis sets doesn't just come from text. We can upload, take an Excel file. So imagine you're implementing in you're a new LSQI user implementing your processes, or you're expanding your footprint into EHS, and you have an Excel file with, safety incidents, for example. You can upload it, and it derives the structure from that analysis set. So to show you an example, I'll include this file. So what we're looking at is this picture. It's a whiteboard session where we sketch a form with a product drop down, a batch number, pH, viscosity, and remarks. So I'm uploading this file as a picture, create the analysis set. So now it's running again, and instead of a textual description, it's taking this form, parsing it, and creating the form in this exact format as we go. So it's it takes a few seconds to process this. On average, I think we're looking at 20-30 seconds or so per form, much quicker than if I were to create this by hand. And then there we go. It's created. So let me go there, go to the start page, refresh. Here we have the AI form. And now, well, let me put them side by side. So we have a product field, which is a drop down. We have a batch number, pH, viscosity with the right unit of measure. We have this remark field. So now we can start collecting our data and using this in, well, whatever process can benefit from this information. So these are examples of quickly rolling out a data-driven approach to it. Then creating these analysis sets and workflows and expressions, of course, are granular tasks in a broader initiative to digitize your operation. So what we're working on right now, and this is so the previous features, the PDF extraction and the unstructured to structured data extraction is stable productized capabilities. The set creation is something in beta. Now we're looking at something in alpha. So we're going down the prototyping development chain here. What we are working on right now is a tool to describe a broader configuration or business process that you want to automate, and then proposing you with a data structure, with workflows, with relations between these sets. So basically your entire LSQI configuration, so that the whole rollout of this is drastically faster than it used to be. So this might take some 30 seconds or so, but it will provide us with a high level overview of the data model, including the forms with all their properties, including the workflows to go from one form to another, or to inform the gatekeepers in this example. So the question I ask it is, for an analysis set with customer complaints, please send a notification to the process gatekeeper when a new complaint is entered. So now it's computing this. We are connecting this to the existing data model so that it can build upon the master data entities that you already have, and then take it from there. So expand your footprint. So now let's see. There we go. So here we have the summary of the process description. I won't go through it in full detail, but we have this high-level architecture with the master data, the analysis sets, the customer complaint form, workflows, the relations, the properties of it, and then here we go. Here we have an entity relation diagram rendered, and a sequence diagram with the workflows, where the user enters a new complaint, submits a result, and then that goes to the gatekeeper. So this is all derived from the prompt and used to create this blueprint. And now the next steps for us, of course, as you can imagine, is connecting this to the ability to create analysis sets, so that you can actively deploy this configuration after you've reviewed it, maybe do a few changes here and there using the iterative approach of the chat, and then commit this configuration to get to the whole setup much quicker than doing that by hand. So these are examples of how to lay the foundation for a data-driven approach to your quality. Now let me switch to the deck again. So once that foundation is and you have your data models and workflows, and you have events happening in the physical world, emitting data, converting into information and insights automatically with all the traditional LSQI capabilities, then we get to the more interesting part of the decision making, and that's where the agents come into play. And these agents, in our belief, can perform much more of a traditionally human role, if you want, than just being a tool for the humans to be used. So they will become more colleagues than tools. And as we thought about that, we we basically reinvented that part of the application as a assistant, as a smart quality assistant that you can interact with and engage with, and ask questions, and it comes back to you with summarizations of relevant information, combining various data sources, interpreting it in context, like finding similar incidents and suggesting corrective actions based on previous actions you've been performing, looking at your quality manual, use all that information in context of the deviations at hand, etc. So that's a completely different way of looking at quality management, and at least looking at quality management software, because it will play a completely different role. So now let me show you how that could look like. So again, switching to the browser. So here we have, and this is a mock-up. I'll show a working example in a sec. This is what we're working on right now. So we have the LSQI application with all its capabilities, and you can start chatting with your QMS, basically with a bunch of predefined prompts. So let's say we're asking it to analyze data in our final product inspections for the month of April, and provide me with a summary of the observations and suggestions. So we're taking data, and this data is sourced from the data model and the foundation that we created automatically, as we saw a few minutes ago. So all that data is available for this, and now we're chewing on that and using that to get to improvements and help us drive decision making. So we're asking it this question, and now it will formulate an answer and getting to these to this feedback. Well, this is mock-up. In reality, it won't be as fast, or not yet at least as fast as it looks like in this mock-up, but this is the direction we're heading towards. And obviously, this is great input if you're in a quality engineer or quality management role, and you need to source all that data in your big QMS to help improve and step up your game in quality management. So this will be drastic improvement, I think, in your decision making and the impact you can have on your process, and ultimately on the value quality delivers for the business. But then one of the guiding principles, of course, told us to look at the accessibility of this, and of course, from a usability perspective, this is perfectly fine, but it's still within the realm of the QMS. So one of the fundamental changes we're looking at right now is, instead of asking the user to come to us, going where the user is at the moment. So this is Microsoft Teams. So what we envision is the QMS having multiple front ends, if you want. So the traditional LSQI front end that you can interact with, well, your mobile application or form factor, but then also integrated into other tools you have. Well, maybe if you're familiar with that, it can be used in your MCP front ends, or obviously in business intelligence tools like Power BI and things. But this more engaging and interactive element could perfectly be integrated into your Teams environment. So if you look at the positioning of the agent as a team member, then chatting with it makes a ton of sense. So in this case, I've opened this channel with our agent, and now if we think about it as a colleague, why not just ask it a question? So I have the same channel open on my cell phone. So now I'm just asking it a question and use the speech to text conversion to, well, get to answers and to talk with my colleague, basically. So I can ask it, how many customer complaints did we receive? Oh, I had a connectivity issue. Let me try it again. How many customer complaints did we receive? It looks like my phone is playing up. Let me try this again. And otherwise, I'll just type it. how many customer complaints did we receive? Okay, well, my phone isn't working, so I can just ask it, how many customer complaints did we receive? So now I'm asking the agent a question in natural language, and it will now start looking into into all the data that we have. It will analyze and it will detect, okay, customer complaints that resides within that table. It will look for guidance on filters and things. So, well, it came back with 43 customer complaints have been received, and now we can ask it, okay, please provide a breakdown of the most common issues. So again, it will start looking into this data and provide us with an overview of the most common causes for these complaints. So this is a completely different way of engaging with software, because typically I had to learn what the software can do, where the data can be found, how I need to apply my filter, how I can create a Pareto diagram or a bar chart. And instead, I can just ask it a question with, in any language and with any typo or however well or ill formulated, and it will come back with feedback. So I can ask it to please visualize this in a bar chart. So you can see this is a completely different way, focusing on the destination rather than on how to get there. So here we have the bar chart with the issues, and then, well, a lot of product issues, packaging issues. So let's say we want to schedule a weekly review of the packaging issues. Schedule a weekly review of the packaging issues and assign this to Craig Smith. There we go. So now it's not only able to retrieve information, but also to commit actions and to execute actions in the system. So in this case, let me copy this link and head back to the browser. There we go. So here we have this action in the calendar scheduled weekly, assigned to Craig, with a review of the packaging issue. So this is just an example of how we can engage with it, retrieve information, use this in a decision making, and then feed that back into actions. And of course, there can be a ton of different examples, probably more valuable examples than this one. But I just wanted to show how the way we interact with software will or can fundamentally change with the new technical capabilities. So let me get back to the deck. So the smart quality assistant. And now if we look at these various AI use cases we've been looking at, then we see a value chain starting there as well, or starting to appear there as well. So we looked at the configuration copilot that let me describe a broader business process or a automation need I have. Then it comes back with a design for that. We can commit that design and create the setup automatically. It adds the business logic where needed based on my descriptions. And then once we have the data model in place, we can feed it with data, structured or unstructured. It will interpret that and it will map it to the right fields, triggering escalations and workflows. So we saw the PDF with the incoming certificate of analysis with an off-spec value that raised an alarm there. And then we saw how you can chat with your QMS, sourcing all this data and eventually all of your quality manuals, and have everything available, and have your incidents evaluated in context of your broader knowledge base, and then derive actions from that, which of course I think where we are right now won't be committed automatically. We still need to have the human in the loop for review and ensure that what we're doing makes sense. But this will help us to go through this value chain much quicker than we can do with traditional software. So for us, this is a very exciting and intriguing development to improve our offering and our proposition to shift from being this data repository with some dashboarding. Of course, there's more to it, but move downstream towards decision making, driving impact. And then looking at the use cases, we basically see two personas there again, phrasing it as human roles or team members. The quality system management, so setting up the data model and the workflow, etc. On the one hand side, and then the actual quality management, so interpreting the data, guiding the workflows, and then interpreting all this information and insights into actionable decisions. So these are the two key personas we identified, and eventually I think we'll get to a situation where we as a software provider will offer a different proposition than software as a tool, but instead positioning it as team members that augment and enrich your quality teams with a dedicated 24/7 quality systems engineer and a dedicated 24/7 QA engineer that you can talk with, and then use all that information in your decision making. And I deliberately added these junior labels there because we're still in the early days, and these agents, however advanced they might be today, are still in their infancy. And I think we should really be aware and be careful of this maturity journey that we are going through as an industry, for us as vendors, you in your role as users, and as probably professionals playing around with the tools and deploying them in your processes as well. We need to be aware of the risks and the limitations of it. So this is a journey that we need to go through, and that we can only do together, I believe. And I'll get to that in a sec. And then before we move on to the interactive part, where I ask you to rate the questions. I see a question by Raphael. Would the AI agent agent be capable of helping users in case they have questions on how to use the system, or help in trainings for new users? And the question to that is absolutely yes. So on our website, I can pull that up actually. On our website, on the help center, we have this chatbot that you can ask questions and help you to use the system actually. So in this case, I talked about the solvers. Please explain me which solvers you offer for supplier quality. You can just ask it, and it includes all the information from the help center, so the technical documentation, even the documentation on the API if you want to build integrations, but also the commercial, the marketing information. So it has all that information, and it will, if I'm lucky, get back to us with instant answers. So this is why it takes a little longer than I anticipated. It's still thinking, but by all means, this is intended to help users across their entire journey. Well, there we go. So here we have a listing of the 4 supplier quality solvers that we offer, ranging from onboarding to incoming goods inspection, supplier deviation handling, and performance evaluation. So this is another type of assistant, which is not necessarily part of our commercial offering, but available to all the users out there included, to help them in deploying and using the system throughout their journey. Cool. I'll get to the other questions later on. For now, I'd like to get to a little poll where I ask you to basically rate the use cases we've been looking at and prioritize them, pick your top 3 solutions in order for us to understand whether the true value can be found. Because we have many more ideas to work on, and as always, limited resources. So we want to ensure that we spend our money best and deliver the best possible value. So, well, I see some good responses there already. With so far, I think the PDF extraction and the chatting with the QMS as the top contenders. Oh, well, it's cool. I'll let this run for a while. I also like to invite you to suggest use cases that we haven't shown today in the chat. If there's things that you thought about and you'd like to see, please share them with us. We may already be looking into them, and if not, then we're very eager to learn and to source ideas and make sure that we can help you in the best way possible. So please use the chat for that as well. We'll have a careful look at the outcome of the poll. So I think it's a tie between the PDF CUA extraction and the chat with your QMS. So I think that this is great input, great confirmation for us in our product development and prioritization. And that brings me to the final slides. Let's see. Switch. Here we go. By all means, I'd like to invite you in the broader LSQI ecosystem to team up with us. We cannot do this ourselves. We've got some great ideas and bright people working on this, but we need you guys basically to help us validate the ideas and to battle test things in the field. So again, I'd like to invite you to this beta program so that we have a list of people we can go to if we want to validate ideas and to try things out. So if you're keen on doing so, and it won't, so if you're keen on doing so, then please sign up and we reach out as soon as we've got something to share. Cool. That was the last slide. So I'll have a quick look at the chat. I see a question by Mike. Can the system be used for supplier corrective actions if the supplier does not have the same system? Yes, absolutely. So as part of the supplier quality capabilities, we have a supplier portal where suppliers can log into the system and engage in your SCAR processes and actively contribute to the root cause analysis, corrective preventative actions, etc., all within context of your LSQI tenant. So they don't need to have a license themselves. Another question by Will. Are you suggesting that the current set of decision makers can be eliminated? Well, I'm not suggesting any layoffs because of AI whatsoever. I think for me, AI is a great tool to enable people to make better decisions faster, and not necessarily to replace them. I don't see this as a quick fix for any problems with your decision-making units out there. It's a tool to help them deliver better than they may do today. So I think it's a great asset, and well, for us internally, we're also looking at it as an efficiency improver, being able to become 120, 150% more productive and effective than we may be today. Adam, can the system build and create performance dashboard for process? Yeah, these kinds of dashboards are definitely possible. We'll make sure to reach out to you, Adam, to maybe schedule a demo or something so we can show that. That's part of the typical capabilities of LSQI. well, the questions are going quite rapidly. So Arthur, Miss Bart. Okay, so all the data. So currently we do indeed use LLM models. So the publicly available models that we engage with when we bring LSQI enable or AI enabled capabilities to the LSQI platform. We will address privacy, security, etc. So that's something we have on the radar. And you mentioned you missed the first part. No worries. We share the recording with all of you afterwards. So if you want, you can have a look at that later on. So we just and to Krishna's question, the models that we use are the common models out there, and we pick and choose the best models for the task at hand, and then we train these models with our specific content and instructions. So the remaining questions, I'll make sure we answer them after the webinar. If you have additional questions, just let us know either through the chat, or you can always reach me on LinkedIn or through email. We'll make sure to follow up with you on these questions. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your attendance. I'm not entirely sure. I think we saw some. Let me have a quick look how many people there are. Close to 100 people that did attend the webinar, so that's great. Please share your questions and remarks and ideas in the chat or over email. We'll continue this series as we progress with our product development, so we're eager to keep you posted. And if you subscribe to the beta list, then we'll reach out to you and we'll cooperate on this. Have a great rest of your day, and I'm sure we'll meet soon. Thanks.